I shouldn't even do this video. I ain't got no beard. They saying I look sick. Jay done lost weight. I'm 195 pounds. The beard looks whipped. Do I do this video? Do I not do this video? You know what? Let's get into today's video. You already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. Yes, the beard is gone. Thank you, Norelco, once again for them little ass guards y'all put on there. It had to come off. I still got the tan line. Just got back from the beach, and I got a bang of a video for y'all today. I want you to take a second, and I want you to think about the craziest. I'm talking about the craziest person you may have ever met in life. You got it? Did you think about him? Did you pull it up? Is it rolling around in your head? Now, I've met some crazy people in my life. I've spoke on some. I was locked up with a dude that took a toothbrush. Listen now, a toothbrush. And he would walk around talking to himself, and he would brush his ear with his old toothbrush. And he had done it to the point that his ear was just all scabs. And now he had started working on the other one, and he was doing it to the point that the scabs, it was disgusting. But it was crazy to say the least. I've met a lot of men that talk to themselves. I've had homeboys out here in the streets go all the way off their rockers. But this go round, going back this time, I met one of the craziest men I've ever met in my entire life. And when I say crazy, crazy's not even I don't feel like it's a strong enough word to capture the story I'm about to tell y'all today. This dude was all the way gone. All the way out there, not in touch with reality, not in touch with where he was, what was going on. Dude was all the way gone in the head. So that's what we're going to do today. The craziest, and by far, the craziest inmate I ever met while locked up. Now, my advice to you before watching this video or after watching this video is do not get yourself locked up. These videos are not meant to glamorize incarceration. They're meant to let you know the things that go on in there, things that have happened in my life, and hopefully deter you from ever making the mistakes that I've made and so many others have made. I may not be perfect, but I promise you the message is worth it. With all that being said, you know I done seen it. You know I done lived it. So let's relive it. Now, to say I'd done time in the past with guys that were just all the way off their rocker would be an understatement. Let's see, we had Duck. Duck was a dude that just, I don't know, he kept pooing himself.
Somebody help me! Help me!
He felt that if he had poo on deck at all times, you tried to put your hands on him, he would take the poo, put it on you, and that would stop the violence, right? Duck would also take poo out with him in his pocket, and if you ran up on him, you'd have to get the poo on you. Nobody wants to poo on them. I can't tell you how many guys I came across that talked to themselves. That was just kind of a normal thing. I think every pod had a guy that just walked by himself all day talking, but to him, he wasn't by himself. He had his imaginary friend. He had somebody there that we couldn't see. Maybe there was somebody, and we were the crazy ones. But it goes to say, you're going to meet a lot of crazy people while locked up. Well, this go round, it wouldn't be in my housing unit. It wouldn't be walking around in the pod. It wouldn't be in the cell like I've experienced in the past. No. Of all places, it would be while I was at court. Now, you've got a bond hearing. If you've been arrested, you have the right to a bond. Whether they give it to you or not, you go in front of a judge, and a judge says yay or nay. Well, that's a process. You get up first thing in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Then make sure your jumper's straight. You don't have anything on you're not supposed to have. No handcuff keys, no nothing to make the great escape. And they're going to take you to court. From there, they back the paddy wagon in. They unload you and they take you down below the jail. It's underground. They get you on the elevator and they take you down. And now you're under the jail. You're actually under the courtroom where everybody above you is having their day in court. And at some point, they're going to call your name. You're going to come out. They're going to put you in the elevator. They're going to bring you up and they're going to take you out of a side door right into the courtroom in front of the judge. Now, you will wait in this cell all day long. It's cold. But most times when I would come into a cell, there could be upwards of 20, 25 guys in this cell waiting, right? Well, I get there a little bit later than the other guys, and they've got them all in this cell, and that cell's full. So they take me, and I'm thinking at first that they're putting me over here with this guy because that's just the only space left. And I come to realize real quick, they didn't want to put anybody else with this guy, I guess because they felt for his safety. They walk me in. First impressions are, mother, y'all know that. But I walk in, and there sits this guy on the bench. And he's got his head down. And he's laughing. And the first thing I picked up on, and believe me when I say this, the man laughs like Pennywise. He's got this crazy, crazy laugh. You're here going to court. Why are you laughing? Who are you talking to? Who are you laughing with? What's so funny? I just got here. You laughing at me? But he's got his head down. And I go and I sit on the bench across from him, right? And I'm kind of looking around the cell. It's dirty. It smells like urine. It's nasty. It's no place you ever want to be. And I look at this guy, and I start noticing things about him. He has food. His jumper is filthy. His jumper has pieces of food, old food, new food, grits, everything that it seems like he's had for a meal at some point or another has collected on his jumper. Now, you're supposed to turn your jumper in and get a new one every week because they get dirty. This guy has clearly never turned his jumper in. I would be in the cell a good 5 minutes before this guy would even raise his head and acknowledge the fact that there was another person in the cell. While I've been in there, this guy is talking to himself. He would be mid-talking, stop and start crying. And then stop crying and start laughing. And then he would put his head back down, and I would watch drool come from the corner of his mouth and just run out. And he would just sit there, frozen in time, frozen in animation, not saying a word, not moving. Just sit there with his head slumped forward, completely still, with drool running out the front of his mouth and collecting on the front of this jumpsuit that's got all this food on it. Now, to break you down what this guy looks like, this is a white guy. He's got a little beard on him that's all scraggly, that also has lint in it, dried drool in it, dried food in it, and it's really patchy. He lifts his eyes up to look at me, and there's nobody home. He's got small acne on his face. His hair is super stringy and greasy, and the guy's just looking at me. And you know the first thing he says to me? Hey, do you know the mamas and the papas?
Dream a little dream of me.
Come again? The group, do you know the mamas and the papas? Do you know the mamas and the papas? Do you know the mamas and the papas? I said, I got a mama and I used to have a papa. No. Do you know? 100% accurate reenactment on how that went. And he starts rocking. So now I'm kind of on high alert. Who have they put me in this cage with? What's up with this dude? Is he about to snap out? Has this journey to jail just been too much for him? And so I sit quietly and I say, hey, man. And he's gone back into the state of staring at the floor. This stuff gets deep with this dude. He goes back to the state of staring at the floor and drooling again. And I said, yo. And he lifts his head up and he kind of looks around. He looks through me. He looks past me. He looks around. And then his head kind of cycles back like a video camera. And he locks in on me. Huh? I said, what are you on? Who's on? What's on? What are you on? The first thing I'm thinking is like, this dude is tweaked out. He is heavily on something. There's no possible way this is just your everyday who you are. What are you on? Fought the cops. Oh, mom. And he goes into crying. And I'm sitting there and I start to feel bad for the dude because this dude is crying. And it's starting to dawn on me. He's not on anything. The dude is crazy. This man, like many men I've met before, should not be in jail. He should be in an institute somewhere, like a mental institution. And I said, well, my name's Jay, man. What's your name? At which point he goes back down and puts his head down and the drool starts again. I sit there. It's silent. Aside from the young gang members you got in the cell next to me, trying to holler down at the girls that are going to court. Hey, girl, let me see them. Show me them cheese. Hey. And you got Big Nasty down there, just the biggest, nastiest woman you could ever imagine. She's up at the bar trying to squeeze this thing through the bar. It's like a watermelon you're trying to put through a hole in the fence. And dudes are eating it up. I hear all that. I go to the door. I see all that. And I'm like, that's not my cup of tea. And I sit back down. Minutes go by. I've introduced myself. I've asked this guy who he is. No response. He lifts his head up. Now, I don't know if this is a medical condition, if this is part of him being crazy or special, but he starts blurting off rock trivia. Guns N' Roses, best album, year such and such, such and such. Axl Rose received such and such award. 3 #1 hits, followed up by the debut album, da da da. And he is just going in with rock and roll trivia. And then he would stop and he would sit quiet. Then all of a sudden he starts singing this song. And this is some type of, like, I'm guessing death metal. It was something really, really dark. And he gets about 10, 15 seconds into it. And he goes, no, 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 bad music. Bad music brings bad thoughts. Bad, bad. Mamas and the Papas. Mamas and the Papas. And he starts singing some songs from this group, the Mamas and the Papas. Meanwhile, you've got to picture how I'm feeling and taking all this in as it's going on. He's doing that. I am sitting back against the wall. And I'm looking at this dude like he's got 3 heads and broken horns and a green tail and Skittles for teeth. And I'm just looking at this dude like, who the hell have they put me in the cell with, man? So he would ask me, well, where are you from? Come again? Like what county, what city, what jail? Where are you in jail at? And at this point, I was in Chesterfield County Jail. I said, they got me in Chesterfield. Oh, I was in Chesterfield. I like Chesterfield. I wish I could be in Chesterfield. They've got me in Riverside Regional Jail, and I'm peeing on the floor, and I pee on the toilet, and they beat me up, and they want me to clean it up. I'm not going to clean it up. It's not my job. I don't work there. Hold on. Back up, homeboy. What did you just say? I said, hold on, wait a minute. And it dawns on me now while this cell smells like urine. I look over the toilet and there's pee everywhere. There's pee everywhere but in the toilet. There's pee on the wall. There's pee on the toilet. There's pee on the partition. There's pee on the front of his jumper. There's no pee in the toilet. I said, you say you're peeing everywhere? Why are you peeing everywhere? They jump me. They fight me. And I still pee everywhere. Oh, man. Right when you think it can't get no worse, it's gradually getting worse. And stay tuned, it only gets worse. I said, well, why are you peeing on the floor and like on yourself and on the walls? Well, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. The kid did it. The kid did it. When I was a kid, the kid did it. The kid in me did it. The kid does it. Am I missing something? What kid? What kid? I said, what kid does, what are you talking about? And then the lady, nobody saw the lady. I saw the lady. She went, she pooped in my front yard. She lit off fireworks. She didn't have clothes on and she ran away and they don't believe it. And I know she did it. And then, yeah. And then he goes back to drawing. You can't make this up. I sit there and I said, hey, man, come back to me. Hey, at this point, I'm realizing this guy's like, he's got the physique that if he wanted to snap out and do something, he probably could. But he doesn't look like he's got a whole bunch of energy in him. He's very lethargic. I said, hey, man, let's go back to you. Why'd you pee on the floor, man? Pee in the toilet, that's nasty. You don't pee on the floor. I could see where you... Oh, I was at Chesterfield, and I kept having trouble. So they moved me to Riverside, and they put me in the cell with a gang member. Do you know what gang members are, Jay? Yeah. I do. Gang members, it's a bad time if you're peeing on the floor and they're in the cell with you. Well, I peed, and I can't help it. I can't help it. And then so I peed. And it went here, and it went there, and it went everywhere. Every time I do it, you should see it. It just goes everywhere, but it doesn't go in the toilet because it can't. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have. Whoa. When you were a kid, let's rewind. I said, what do you mean it doesn't go straight when you was a kid? You cut it in half. Well, I was a kid and I found the glass and I didn't like the thing, so I cut it. I put the glass in it and I pulled, and oh, it was so bad and it hurt so bad. But I did it some more and I did it a bunch of different times and it was like strings. And and then he started crying and he put his head down. Now I've got to take in what he just told me. What the man just told me is he took a piece of glass when he was young and he disfigured his member. He took little man and wow. I had never, ever heard anything like this, nor did I imagine I would ever hear anything like this. I didn't plan on this one when I got up this morning. Didn't know this was going to happen. Figured I'd be in the jail with a bunch of gangbangers, a bunch of dudes with homies and this and that. Not this guy. I said, you took a piece of glass. Mind you, he's now went back into boom, head down, drooling on himself state. Just sitting there. Greasy hair shining at me. Dirty jumper. No communication. Lights are off. Nobody's home. Drool running out of his mouth. I said, hey, man, hey. What do you mean you took a piece of glass and you did what? His head lifts back up and he looks at me. And when he looks at you, he's not there. He's looking through you. It's like he's looking at the wall and he's not registering. He's looking at a person. And then after about 10, 15 seconds, the lights come on and he kind of tilts his head a little bit and looks at you. And then the conversation starts. Oh, I was a boy. Oh, when I was a boy. Oh, I took it and I cut it. And I cut it and I cut it. And okay. Enough of this conversation. Moving on. He said, so I went to the doctor and they did what they could do. They did it. Oh, they did it. They did it. But then I would just do it again and I would do it again. So then they just started trying to fix what was left of it. Okay, this is a lot to take in. So when I pee, it goes everywhere. It doesn't go straight. It just goes everywhere. And that's not my fault. And I'm not going to clean it up because I don't work at the jail. It's not my job to clean up pee. It's my job to try to go home to my mama, but not to clean up pee. I said, look, man, if you pee on the floor, you kind of got to clean that up. You know, you got to understand that another man lives in the cell with you, horse. Like, you can't just be peeing. Oh, I did. Oh, I did. And he punched me here, and he punched me here. And so then they took me to the hole. I sat in the hole by myself, and oh, so bad, screaming, yelling, crying, miss mama, I miss mama, I miss mama. Damn, I hope I get a bond. When is this dude going to court? When is he getting out of here? So we're gonna move on from that. There was a lot more conversation that went into the peeing and me trying to give him advice on how not to get himself beat up. Because peeing all over somebody's cell is one of the quickest, surefire ways to get you beat up. Not to mention not having proper hygiene. Your hygiene's really, really bad. But I'm not gonna really poke fun at the dude because the dude was off in his head. So his head goes back down. Boom. He's back into drool mode. I'm sitting there trying to take in everything that this man just said. There's a damn bee in the car. There's a bee back here. Y'all might see me get stung. How did a bee get in my car? Is that a bee? No, it's not a bee. That's just me thinking it's a bee. I go back into just looking at this dude sit there, and he goes quiet for a while. We're talking 15, 20 minutes. The power has ran out. The energy, the power is cut off like the guy just boom, head down. But every now and then he would let a whimper. But there's really no movement. And then his head comes up. I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry. I miss you. I want to go home. I miss you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I want to go home. I miss you. I'm sorry. And he starts repeating this over. I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry. I want to go home. I'm sorry, mama. I want to go home. I'm sorry. To the point that he's starting to scream, I'm sorry. In his cell. All while in the midst of crying profusely. I'm talking tears are running down his face, snot coming out his nose, drool running down his lips. This dude is going through it. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting on the bench. Nobody else is seeing this. This is just me and this guy in the cell. I said, do you have a lawyer? You shouldn't be here. I tell him this. Do you have a lawyer? Now I'm starting to get irritated. Not at him, but at the fact that they have this dude locked up in jail. This dude needs to be in a mental hospital. This dude needs to be medicated. He needs to be seen by people. He should not be sitting in jail with people that are going to attack him. I said, do you have a lawyer? The cops, they beat me. They're bad, so bad. The cops bad, cops. So I fight. You're hitting me, so I fight. Okay. I'm not going to answer me about the lawyer part, so go on about what happened. It's bad. Playing the music. The cops come. My mom tries to pull me out to go talk to the cops. Scared of the cops. So I push my mom. My mom falls down. She gets hurt. The cops come in and they try to grab me. And I start fighting the cops. And I'm trying to get to my mama, but they're trying to handcuff me. I'm trying to get to my mama. Is my mama okay? My mama. Is my mama okay? This is a lot going on. Nobody else is seeing this. I said, is your mom okay? Oh, my mom. Mama. And he just starts crying about his mom again. I said, so you said the cops beat you up? Oh, so bad. And then they took me to jail. I said, why did you go to jail? Oh, I don't know. I hurt mom. I don't know. So I'm waiting to meet my lawyer. Right? My lawyer has been hired. I have not yet talked to my lawyer, but my lawyer is going to come to court today for this bond hearing. There was another lawyer prior to my lawyer I was going to hire, which is a really, really, really good lawyer, like amazing. But I ended up going with somebody better than him, just a better candidate. So I see the original lawyer. There's a glass. You stand at the bars, you can see through this glass out into the hallway. I see the original lawyer I was going to hire. He calls my name. Meanwhile, this dude is crying. He's drooling. He's in and out. He's rocking back and forth. They call me out. I go talk to the lawyer. Hey, what's up, man? I'm such. I said, I know who you are. You're Mr. Williams, correct? Yes, sir. All right, look, your people are supposed to meet me here today and give me X amount of dollars so we can get your case rolling. I said, actually, I hired Craig Cooley. You hired Craig Cooley? You got offended. I said, yeah, I went with Craig Cooley. Of course you did. All right, well, good luck then. And he goes to walk off. And he goes through the door that, would lead him to the elevator and then into the courtroom. It would be maybe 15 minutes later of this dude. Now he's rambling rock trivia again. AC/DC, number one hits, guitar singer, drummer, da-da-da. And then he would go into another one. And he is legitimately rambling off rock and roll trivia. The man doesn't fully understand the severity of his situation, but you could ask him any rock and roll related question, and he could tell you every single person in the band, the year they debuted, their number one, their best-selling album, everything about rock. And then he would go into singing a song he enjoyed. Ooh, good song. Then he would sing something that made him uncomfortable, and he'd, bad song, don't sing it, it's the bad song. And then he would go into this lethargic, not talking state again. It gets worse. After about 15, 20 minutes, I've now seen my lawyer. I've talked to my lawyer. That was the second part. I come sit down. That same lawyer I almost hired the first time comes back down. And I see him again, and I'm like, what is this dude doing? So I get up, I go to the bars, I look through the glass. I'm like, I told him I'm not hiring him. I just talked to my lawyer. He calls the dude that I'm in the cell with out. And I hear the entire conversation. It doesn't take place no further than 6 feet from where I'm at. Hey, I'm your lawyer. I've been court-appointed representative to take care of your case. I was here today, heard about your case a little bit, so I figured I'd just pick it up. And this guy's just standing there, and he's rocking. And that is exactly what it sounded like. He's rocking. The mama, my mama. And his lawyer tells him, your mom's in the courtroom. Very nice woman. Your mom's there. Your dad's there. Your family's there. We're going to see what we can do for you. You're charged with, 8 counts of assault on a police officer. 8 of y'all took charges against this man. 8. Y'all can't tell me that in dealing with him, y'all did not realize this man was gone in the head, that he was crazy, that he was mental. 8 of you cops wrote a paper stating that he assaulted you. As you entered his house, as he was trying to pick his mother up off the floor, 8 different cops charged this man with assault and are pursuing the charges. The lawyer told him the officers are present in the courtroom today, but I think I'm going to go in and I have a different plan. And he's talking, and the lawyer stops and he's asking me, he goes, are you okay? And he's, I know the lawyer had talked to his parents. His parents told him, he's not all there. They probably told him about the stuff he did to himself when he was a kid. And I'm sure there's so much more. Maybe about the lady in the front yard with using the bathroom and the fireworks. And just, I can only imagine what it's like living with this guy for 24 hours. So they call him out. Prior to calling me out, they call him out. And he leaves out and he goes to court. And I'd sitting there for what felt like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes while his court proceeding took place. And he comes back and he's rocking. He's rocking and he's rocking hard. Mom. And he's crying for his mother. I guess he had just seen his mom in the courtroom. And I give it a few minutes. I don't want to just jump straight in. Hey, what happened, would you? But I give it a few minutes. I say, hey, man, what happened in court? Mom, I want my mom. And then he starts crying, I want to go home. Now, I've seen guys that weren't crazy start crying and saying, I want to go home. We all want to go home. We all miss our families. We all miss just the everyday luxuries of being free, just not being told what to do, not living in a cell, not waiting on child. We all want to go home, but he starts saying it over and over. I want to go home. 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 Mama, mama, mama. He's calling out for his mom. This is a grown man crying and calling out for his mama, right? At this point, I start to feel bad. I just sit back and I'm observing this dude. Also, let me key in. I'm still being very observant because at any moment, this dude could flick, switch, whatever, short circuit, and just go into God knows what type of mode inside this cell, right? But he sits there and he starts rocking. I said, hey, man, what happened with your case? Like, what's going on? Oh, Central State. What is the Central State? I said, they said Central State. Yeah, I'm going to Central State. What is the Central State? What is that? Another river? Is another Riverside jail? What is the Central State? I said, they told, oh, I'm going to Central State. Come take me to Central State. What does that mean? That's not even a state. I know all the states, and I never heard of one called Central State. What is Central State? Central State, for y'all that don't know, is a hospital out here that houses crazy people. I said, you're going to Central State? Yeah, Central State, Central State, Central State. Mama, the papas, the mamas. Just a repeat of what he's been doing the entire time I've been in the cell with him. And I told him, I said, hey, man. And he's back to his lethargic drool on himself again. Boom. Shuts down. He's sitting there. I said, hey, that's a good thing. What? Looks up, looks around, looks through me. 10, 15 seconds, autofocus kicks in. Boom. He sees me again. Central State. It's good. I said, yes, that's a hospital where you're going to get help, man. You need help. I said, you shouldn't be in here. There's guys in here that need to be here. You don't need to be here. You shouldn't be in the cell with gang members. You shouldn't be in the cell with anybody. You should be medicated. You should be monitored. They should help you use the bathroom. You shouldn't be here. It doesn't even sound to me like you really committed a crime to begin with. You were playing your music really, really loud. The cops showed up to tell you to turn it down. This was late night. Your mom came in to tell you about it and told you the cops were there. You freaked out on your mom not going outside. And I don't got any reason to think this dude would lie, right? He said that when his mom tried to pull his arm to take him outside, he flipped out and started flailing. And that she fell over. I guess he had a little table or something in his room. She fell over. The cops were standing at the door, saw this. He started trying to help his mom up. And the cops rushed in as if he had just assaulted his mom, which they also charged him with. Central State, good. Central State is good. Back to the Pennywise laugh, right? Now, he's in a different jail than I am. So we come in two different paddy wagons. We're going to leave in two different paddy wagons. Here's the icing on the cake. They tell everybody. They start calling names. Williams, you're getting ready to hit transport. You're going back. You're getting ready to hit transport. You got guys that sat next to me. You're going back. And you got guys over there say, hey, man, don't put that dude, the pissy dude, don't put him in the van with us, man. Put him in his own van. They told my dude it's in the cell with me. And he stands up. And he's at the bars and he's rocking because he hears these other dudes talking about don't put him in the cell with me. That's what I can only assume because when they started getting all loud, yelling through the bars, don't put the crazy pissy dude in the cell, in the bus with us, in the van with us, he starts, he starts crying again because he's clearly been assaulted time and time again. I'm sitting on the bench. He's standing at the bars. He starts crying. He turns around and he walks over to the toilet. And I already know this is going to be bad. I've already scooted as far from the urinal, from the toilet, from that whole scenario as I can because it's nasty over there. You see it everywhere. And you hear him unclicking the buttons on his jumper. Click, 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 click. And I turn my head and I'm looking towards the bars and he's, and and you can hear him peeing. And you can hear it bouncing off the walls, off the back of the toilet, off of everywhere but water. You don't hear pee and water at the same time. You know when you pee into the toilet, you hear the water and the toilet and the pee all pee hits water, water meets pee, and it makes a noise. You don't hear that. You straight hear pee hitting the floor and hitting the wall. Now, under normal circumstances, had this have been a normal guy, I'd have got severely irritated real quick that you're just pissing all over the floor and all over the wall, and I've got to sit in the cell and smell it. I've got to hear it. It's possible some of it, come a distance and got on me. Who knows? But now knowing this guy's history and the conversation we had and seeing how he is, once again, I started to feel bad for him. And I told him, I said, hey, man, he finished peeing, he sat back down, and he now has pee all over the front of him. Not only is it everywhere, it's also on him. You can see that it's on his hand. You can see, I say, hey, you can do yourself a solid, man. Wash your hands. You're going to get infection. You eat food. He doesn't care nothing about that. I said, well, the good thing about Central State, when are they coming? When are they coming? When are they coming? Are they coming now? When are they coming? And I'd heard of guys going to Central State before. It could be this week. It could be 3 months. It could be 5 months. It's all when a bed opens. And then you're going to be held there for 6 months to a year. When are they coming? I said, hope it's sooner than later, man. Did you get to see your mom? Oh, mama. Oh, mama. And then they opened the gate and they called his name. The mamas and the papas. The mamas and the papas. #1 best hit. #1 selling artist. You're such and such, such and such, such and such. The mamas and the papas. And he walked out and the gate closed. And there I sat in the cell. Yellow cell. Looks like it was painted with cigarette smoke. Old. Names etched into the wall with a staple or zipper or whatever guys could get their hand on. The bars are all faded and rusted where the paint's peeled off over the years. The toilet's dirty, discolored, and now completely layered in pee. And there I sit. And just as quickly as I met this guy, he leaves. He walks out. And he's gone. And I hear the commotion in the hallway. Oh, hell no, you ain't about to put him in the paddy wagon. And blah, blah, blah. And it fades off as they keep going down the corridor. And then it got silent. So I would go on to make bond. And I never forgot about this guy. I told my wife about this guy that night when I got back to the jail and I talked to her on the phone. And you know what she said? I saw him. I was going to ask you, what was up with the guy with the dirty brown hair with the dirty jumper? And I asked her, I told her, I filled her in on everything that took place in the cell. I said, what happened in the courtroom? And exactly what he had said is what happened. The cop got on the stand and said that they were called for a noise complaint and that the mother answered the front door and said that the son stayed at the back of the house. And on the back of the house, I guess there's like Florida room doors. There's a double set of doors that opens up. And that's his bedroom. And that the cops were knocking on the door. And the door was unlocked, but the door wasn't open. And that the mom came through the house, came down a little set of steps and went into his room and was telling him to turn the music down, that the cops were outside and wanted to talk to him. And he wouldn't go outside. She grabbed him by his arm, tried to lead him to the cops. He flipped out. She fell, at which time the cop opened the door. They ran in. The cop tried to grab him. He pulled away. That's resisting. The cop grabbed him. He grabbed the cop. All these cops come in. They all start tussling. They all go to the ground. 8 counts of assault on a police officer. She said, Jay, his mom was crying hysterically in the courtroom, saying that he's a special boy. He's never been in trouble his entire life. He's troubled, but he's never been in trouble, and that he needs serious help, that he needs to come home so that his mama can take care of him. When you think things can't get any worse than what they are, they do. So we fast forward. I get out, I've done my time, everything's behind me, and I start looking into the guy. The guy in the thumbnail very much resembles him, but it's not him. And I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm not going to put any more of the details of his case out there because I don't feel like we should exploit people that have those type of issues. He has a serious mental issue. So we'll just go with Pennywise. That's just the name that I'm going to don this guy. But I looked into this guy once I got out, and I come to find out that the guy is no longer alive. He did his time in Central State. He got out and he got into an altercation with a neighbor. And the neighbor ended up pulling a knife on him and took his life. Very sad and tragic ending for a man that needed more help than I think anybody realized. I want y'all to understand this when I say this. Aside from the fact that he had just an arsenal of memory and thoughts when it came to rock and roll trivia, he wasn't all there. I can't put an age on if mentally you had to put an age on how old the guy was. I couldn't put an age because it fluctuated. 8 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old, 5 years old. Everything was just, it was so sporadic with this guy. But if his family should ever come across this video, and you'll know exactly who he is because of things I talked about in this video, there can't be two of those guys. I want to say, sorry about y'all's loss, man, and I wish that the system would have done more. Rest in peace. Well, that is it for today's video. The craziest, by far, the craziest inmate I was ever locked up with. Pennywise, the mama and the papas, and peeing everywhere. Truly, truly crazy. If you or someone you love needs help, seek help. Get people the help they need. Jail is not for everybody. Everybody should not be in jail. Not everybody should be punished the same. And that's how I feel about this case, man. I felt if he had been medicated the way that he should, looked after the way that he should, that not only would he have not ended up in jail to begin with, but the sad outcome of him getting released and then the situation with the neighbor could have possibly been prevented. Been doing a lot of lives lately. Make sure you go check out the lives I've done. Let's get back to the content. As always, I've missed y'all just like I know y'all have missed me, and this is what we do. But anyways, these streets, these jails, these prisons, they're all just crazier worlds inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams Let's Live Life. To all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Man, y'all know how we do. Salute. The mamas and the papas. The mamas and the papas. The mamas and the papas.